Bennett.
Kia ora, Madam Chair, and the Minister did allude to this a bit earlier, and we do, again, don't want to labour this, but want to spend a moment just reflecting. This is around parliamentary security, and again, I without sort of expecting the Minister to do everything I say, but to explain a little bit what this is about, because I think what we currently have and what this part will do is quite a major change in terms of parliamentary security. My first question, just to open up, is around subpart 1. Clause 162, 2, subpart 1, just around the actual definition of a security guard. And I just want to seek clarification around they are specifically employed by parliamentary services. Because I know in the past, for example, an Eco office, an electorate office out in the provinces or out in around the country, and there have been moments when there has been red flag issues and security. Obviously, there's been security things put in place, but actually having a security guard, for example, armour guard or others, for a set amount of days or for a week because of something that's been heightened in that community. So my question to the Minister is just to clarify that when we're actually talking specifically, again, subpart 1, about the actual definition of a security officer, that they are specifically employed by parliamentary services, or does that go beyond it to contracted armour guard type of services?
Honourable Chris Bishop.
Madam Chair, I'm advised it does not include contractors. It implies to people employed by Parliament. The member makes a good point around that this is a change, and it is largely to clarify the law and make sure we have a modern approach to parliamentary security. It's modelled on the Court Securities Act. So the parliamentary security officers, who do a very good job, may I say, will be similar to those of court security officers who, if you think about the other branch of government, the judicial branch, they play a similar role in relation to that. So the bill gives parliamentary security officers statutory powers of consent search, denial of entry, temporary seizure of specified items and temporary detention. The powers apply in the parliamentary precinct to parliamentary meetings outside the precinct. So, for example, sometimes select committees travel and do submissions in hotels or community halls, and actually I think probably we should do a little bit more of that, to be honest, and electorate and community officers. And of course, if MPs do travel for those, tends to be, by definition, it's not Parliament, it's not the parliamentary precinct, and so because it's the sort of everyday run-of-the-mill place, make sure that if there is security applied there, then those powers apply. It also gives security officers immunity for the appropriate exercise of their functions and powers. It's quite interesting. Security officers here currently lack those statutory powers and immunities. They rely on the common law and the rights of an occupier under the Trespass Act 1980. So I think we would all agree that parliamentary security here does an excellent job, and it is really important that they have the appropriate powers in order to make sure that people who work in this building, it's not about MPs, to be honest, far more people who are not MPs work here than actual MPs, so it's more about the staff. And we also need to make sure that Parliament is accessible as possible. I for one think it is a fantastic thing that it is so easy to visit our Parliament, and it's free, and you should never be charged to come to Parliament, and you can walk in, and as long as you're not carrying things that you shouldn't be carrying, you can walk in, sit up and watch Question Time, or you can watch the debates. And you can wander around and you can visit your MP. That ability, I've been lucky enough to travel to other parliaments around the world. Sometimes even when I've been a tourist in my own time, I've travelled to other parliaments. This is a slightly sad thing to admit. Other parliaments are not like that. They're not. The House of Commons in the UK, it's like getting into Fort Knox, which is sad, but it's the reality. And there are other legislatures and congresses and houses of representatives which is all but impossible to visit as a tourist or even probably an everyday citizen, and that is a sad reality, and I hope we never get to that point in New Zealand. But part of making sure we never get to that point is making sure there's appropriate security, so that's what this section is about.
Well, that's interesting and brings the part about security, and it will be interesting as, will the jurisdiction be the electorate office? Makes sense if you're having a select committee and where's a good place that you can run a select committee meeting? The Auckland Town Hall, the Carterton RSA, it would make sense for those sorts of things to be in place. I mean, it's definitely in there. It's quite interesting where lines are being drawn for different things to MPs. Let's continue over with
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, News Guide, the Order Paper Podcast.